Welcome back to the show. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about President Biden's student loan forgiveness plan, how the Supreme Court is going to handle it, what the social commotion about it is all about, like the arguments for and against it. Yeah, let's get into it. So, I'm just going to read off like what it is first. I'll talk about it a little bit. So, in August of 22, President Biden directed the Department of Education to forgive $10,000 of federal student loan debt per borrower, or $20,000 for those who attend college on a Pell Grant. So, I'm before I get more into this, I should have done this at the beginning, but I am attending college. I've only taken out one student loan. I got through my first year. Now this issue doesn't apply to me too much. I do have a pretty strong opinion on it, but me personally, I'm not struggling too much. I myself wouldn't need student loan forgiveness, but that doesn't mean that there are people who don't need it. So let's move on. The House of Representatives and the Senate have wrote legislation to cancel Biden's student loan. A lot of people, they're pushing back on it. I saw there was 2 Democrats who voted to cancel the plan as well. I can't remember their names, but it's mostly Republicans right now trying to block the student loan forgiveness. Now, that's not to say that Republicans are always going to be against this type of stuff. Trump himself, he did some stuff. He tried to get some student loan forgiveness passed. So I don't know if it's really a bipartisan issue at this point. It seems to be popular with some people and then others for reasons I'll get to. Not really. So neither the House or the Senate could override the bill. They need 2/3 of a vote to do that. They couldn't, but they tried. Biden has promised to veto legislation that would cancel his student loan forgiveness. So if something goes to Joe Biden's desk and it says, it's legislation that would try to cancel his student loan forgiveness plans, then he's going to veto it. He's not going to let it pass. He made a promise to do that, and if he wants to keep the young supporters to vote for him, then he's probably going to want to do that. He wants to stick to his word, at least in my opinion. The Supreme Court is expected to make a ruling in July, so that's this month. The Supreme Court, I feel like they're going to slap it down. I don't know that. That's just my personal feeling about it. Now, I did write down some of the arguments that people are arguing for and against it, and I'll explain them. So on the pros, stimulate the economy, right? Because you don't have people who have these loans that they're paying back their whole life. They're going to spend their money, on other stuff. More people spending money, more money in the economy. Self-explanatory. Helps working people. That's another thing. That's the biggest thing that would incline me to support it. People who have things they have to pay off and they're just drowning in student loan debt. Like 70% of the country lives paycheck to paycheck. It's wild, but that's just the way it is right now. So it'll definitely help the working people. People who, just everyday people, probably like you, like me, that are just trying to get by. Some of the cons we got, more government spending. I mean, this one I can kind of refute. We, as of this year, I don't remember the exact number, but I think it's around 800 billion with a B, billion dollars that are going into our military budget. So, say what you want, but we're spending a fuck ton of money on things that aren't even popular. Like, most of our military, we just do offensive wars. Yeah, it is what it is. This is another one I find interesting, and this one I kind of understand. That it's unfair to those who have paid off their student loans. A lot of the older people and younger people too will make the argument, hey, this isn't fair to us who have paid off our student loans. You know, we worked for this. And that's great. That's great. The thing is though, sorry. Would you rather have the next generation of people struggling, trying to make ends meet, and not able to have this? Question mark. I think one of the things we should always try to do is we should try to improve the life of our younger generation. You know, we don't need this whole rhetoric of, oh, I had to do this and that, so you should have to do this and that. If I can make something better for the people who are coming into life after me, I want to do it, and I hope other people would want to do it too. Yes, it is more government spending. Yes, it might not be too fair to the people who did pay them off, but ultimately this can help a lot of people. There's already, as I was saying, this can help a lot of people. I want people who are in need, they want to just be able to live their lives, not have to worry about having this debt hanging over themselves like a cloud in the sky. I want them to be able to live their life, you know, and this, if they can get the relief they need, it'll incentivize them to, you know, maybe buy a house, buy a better car or a car, have kids. It just will free up so much for the average working man that I can't help but say I want this to pass. I want more student loan forgiveness. I haven't looked too much into the issue of free college. I know a lot of people who support it. I'm generally on board with, you know, doing things to kind of help the working person rather than doing things to give corporations, big business more money. I mean, take a look at all these ridiculous big stadiums and events that these colleges do. They have plenty of money. They have plenty. So if we can give some of that money back to the people, that'll make me happy. I'm sure it'll make a lot of you happy, especially if you're struggling with this sort of thing. I'm graceful enough to where I'm not. I fully intend to pay back my student loan that I took out. I don't need forgiveness, but I've heard a lot of debt horror stories. And one thing I will point out, I didn't write this one down, but one of the arguments people will make is, look, you know, you signed it, you know what you signed up for, you should pay it back. The thing is, when people are just getting out of high school, they're still kind of a kid. I'm 20. I still kind of feel like a kid. You're so young and you're just signing something that can affect you for the rest of your life. You know? I get it. You know how to read. You signed it. But I still think 20 is pretty young to be making a decision that big. It's just what I think. That's just my opinion. That's just my spiel. Not saying you should have to be like older to sign that kind of agreement. But let's face it. A lot of people who sign up for this stuff probably weren't thinking too much ahead of what they got into. Some people, the debt doesn't affect them too much. They get a decent job and they're able to pay it. It still takes quite a big portion out of their money. Some people, they can just barely get by and they have this debt hanging over them, making their life worse. And even for people who aren't struggling, who have plenty of money to get by, who were able to launch whatever career they were trying to get, still, bonus money, brother, you know? Wouldn't you rather have some of that relief? And I know I've already said this, but these colleges, they have so much damn money already that it just. I hope we can give some of it back to the people. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.